Early in the 19th century, along the Red River in Tennessee, a hard-working farming family experienced a series of assaults by a malicious entity. It is said to have had the remarkable ability to speak, manipulate its physical environment, and alter its very form. Hello and welcome back to Terrifying Tales and Haunted Locations. Today we explore a haunted location and the malicious entity behind the haunting. The phenomenon has come to be known as the Bell Witch Haunting, or simply the Bell Witch. In 1804, after having great success with their farm in North Carolina, John Bell and his wife Lucy purchased land and, along with their children, relocated to an area close to what is now the community of Adams along the Red River in northwest Robertson County, Tennessee. For over 13 years, the Bell family farm in rural Tennessee not only thrived, but also grew to encompass more than 1,000 acres of land. One day in 1817, John was tending to his crops while he came upon a strange-looking creature. Initially, John thought it was a stray dog from a neighboring farm. However, upon closer inspection, he noticed that it was a dog, but it had the head of a rabbit. It appeared to be shadowing his every move. John raised his gun and fired at the mysterious creature, and it quickly disappeared. However, as he approached the area where the animal had been, there was no sign of it. It seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Shortly after John's eerie encounter, his son Drew said that he had seen something unexplainable as well. He had come across a mysterious bird and described it as being extraordinarily large, perched on a fence. He had never seen a bird even close to that size before on their property, and as he walked closer, the bird quickly flew away. On a different occasion, John's daughter Betsy witnessed a mysterious girl in a green dress swinging from the limb of an oak tree on the property. Her experience was similar to her brother's. The little girl had vanished as well as Betsy walked closer to her. Even the enslaved workers within the family began to experience unusual events. During his evening walks to visit his wife, Dean, an enslaved worker, additionally had an experience of being trailed by what he said was a sizable black dog. According to Dean, the dog usually appeared as a dog-like creature, sometimes with two heads. After these encounters, Dean admitted to carrying a witch ball made by his wife as a protective measure against harm. At first, the unusual sightings occurred outside the cabin or in the forest. However, as time passed, these eerie encounters started happening progressively closer to the cabin. The family began waking up in the middle of the night to a faint knocking sound on the exterior walls of their cabin. The knocking grew louder and louder, and over several nights it extended to the windows and eventually the front door. Strange, eerie sounds similar to the flapping of birds' wings against the ceilings began to be heard as well. Eventually, the distinct noises of rats gnawing on bedposts echoed through the cabin in the middle of the night. However, the situation intensified as more disconcerting noises emerged, including choking, strangling, the dragging of chains, and the impact of heavy objects hitting the floor. As these noises moved throughout the house, the family began to hear sounds of beds being suddenly and roughly pulled apart, along with what seemed like the sounds of dogs fighting in other rooms. Despite conducting thorough searches the next day, the family couldn't identify the source of the unsettling sounds. No rats were ever found within the cabin, and there was no observable damage to the furniture. The mystery surrounding the origin of these disturbances persisted, leading the family to realize that they were dealing with a poltergeist. Unlike ghosts, poltergeists are known for creating physical disturbances, such as loud noises and the movement or destruction of objects. Initially perceived as a benign haunting, the situation evolved into a series of terrifying events, casting a shadow over the Bell family's cabin. At the onset of the haunting, the Bell family chose to keep the disturbing events to themselves, opting not to disclose the details to their neighbors. However, as the incidents escalated, the Bells shared their unsettling experiences with a neighbor and family friend. They hoped to seek validation for the strange occurrences they had encountered. The friend agreed to assist, spending a night where he hoped to experience the same paranormal phenomena. The next day, he conveyed to Lucy and John his belief that they were being tormented by an entity reminiscent of a spirit, just like in the Bible. News of the haunting quickly spread throughout the countryside and region, attracting the interest of curious individuals who traveled considerable distances to witness the alleged hauntings. Numerous individuals visited the Bell property, attempting to outsmart the entity and uncover the truth about its origin. However, each effort was met with unexplainable phenomena that instilled fear, prompting a swift departure from the premises. During a particular visit, a man arrived asserting his ability to communicate with spirits and offering to investigate. When the visitor mentioned his family, the witch began imitating his parents residing overseas, replicating their exact accent, known only to him. The following morning, the entity woke the man to the voices of his concerned parents, who claimed to have heard his voice as well. In response to this eerie confirmation, the man left abruptly that morning. Subsequently, he wrote to the Bell family, revealing that his parents had verified being visited by an entity during the same time frame as his encounter. He expressed regret for his initial skepticism. The disturbances seemed to primarily target Bell's youngest daughter, Betsy, and her father, John. Simultaneously, the entity became more malevolent and began forcefully pulling the sheets from the children's beds while they slept. Meanwhile, Betsy was enduring painful slaps, pinches, and even the sharp pains of being stuck with a needle, while John faced more subtle attacks on his psyche and overall health. The unsettling nature of the entity took a more eerie turn as it demonstrated its ability to communicate. Using a haunting voice, it frequently mimicked family members and divulged personal details about their lives. This communication raised numerous questions, the most pressing of which was, "Who are you and what do you want?" On one occasion, the voice identified herself as a spirit and said that she had once been very happy, but had been disturbed. The spirit further explained its presence, linking it to the disturbance of a Native American burial mound on the property. According to one version of the legend, a woman named Kate Batts resided close to the Bell's property. She was known to occasionally mispronounce words, leading some to believe she might be mumbling or conversing with someone unseen. Additionally, her unconventional behavior aroused suspicions that she may be practicing black magic. Some residents thought that she had summoned the infamous Bell Witch herself. However, having the ability to communicate, the entity began referring to John as Old Jack Bell and openly declared her intention to end his life. This malevolence manifested through a barrage of curses, threats, and afflictions. Regrettably, as these attacks persisted, John's health deteriorated, compelling him to spend increasing amounts of time in bed and eventually requiring the care from his son, John Jr. The entity had made it clear that one of her main goals was to ensure the demise of John Bell. He endured curses, terrible threats, and severe physical torment over the years, and it had a profound impact on Old Jack Bell. On December 19, 1820, John didn't get up from his bed. Concerned, John Jr. went to check on him and discovered his father unconscious. Seeking to administer the prescribed medicine, John Jr. opened the cupboard only to find a single vial instead of the usual 3. This lone vial contained a dark, smoky liquid of unknown origin. When the town doctor arrived and examined the vial, even he couldn't identify its contents. However, when a single drop was administered to a stray cat, the unfortunate creature succumbed to its effects within moments. The witch's voice taunted them, saying,
"Your efforts to help old Jack are in vain. I have him now. He'll never get up from that bed again."
She went on to reveal that she had administered a potent dose from the vial to old Jack while he slept soundly the previous night, claiming it had fixed him. Legend has it that when the vial's contents were thrown into the fire, it burst into a blue blaze. On December 20th, 1820, John Bell passed away. The Bell Witch was reportedly even present at John's funeral, persistently interrupting the proceedings by singing drinking songs. To this day, the circumstances surrounding John Bell's death remain shrouded in mystery. Although the intensity of the Bell Witch haunting notably diminished after John Bell's demise, it did not completely vanish. Adjacent to the historic Bell Farm lies a mysterious cave, approximately 490 feet deep and widely recognized in the region as the Bell Witch Cave. The cave holds a significant role in the legend of the Bell Witch. Located on land once owned by the Bell family, a widely held belief suggests that after concluding her haunting of the family, the witch sought refuge deep within the confines of this very cave. The Bell Witch legend has left a lasting impact on the legacy of the Bell family. Despite this, they persevered, and to this day, some descendants of the Bells continue to reside in Tennessee and other southern and midwestern states. Betsy persisted through the ongoing haunting of the entity, though the intensity was never comparable to the initial haunting. Subsequently, she fell in love and married. Despite the apparent easing of the witch's torments in 1820, she and her husband decided to leave the area and settle in Mississippi. That's all for now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It really helps out the channel, and let us know if there are any stories that you would like us to cover in the future. Until next time, thank you for watching.